Gertrude and Reginald, the Monsters, talk about living and non-living by Eric Braun, illustrated by Christian Bernardini. Gertrude and Reginald are friends, but they don't always agree. For example, Gertrude prefers funny books, while Reginald likes serious ones. Gertrude loves candy corn smoothies. Reginald is into salad. They are both monsters, but Reginald doesn't like that word. It's rude, he says. But Reggie, said Gertrude, you hide under beds and scare people just like me. You and I are the same. Reginald looked down his nose at his friend. She was slimy, smelly, and happy. I am nothing like you, he said. Gertrude rubbed one of her chins. She hated to argue, but she didn't want Reginald to go through life thinking he was so different. Actually, you and I are both living things. That means we have tons in common. Ha! Said Reginald. Like what? He asked, as if he really wanted to know. Gertrude said, You eat, don't you? All living things have to eat. They need water, too. Reginald watched Gertrude make yet another candy corn smoothie. Yuck, he thought. But he had to admit, they both needed to eat. But plants are alive, he said, and they don't eat. Plants make their own food by using light, said Gertrude. Their eating doesn't look like our eating, but it's really the same. Gertrude continued, You and I use food to make energy, just like all living things. We use that energy to do things we need to do, like move around. We can notice things around us, and we can react to them. Like if it's cold, we can put on a jacket. If there's danger, we can run away. Things that aren't alive can't do that stuff. Are you telling me that plants can move? Asked Reginald. Actually, yes, replied Gertrude. Plants grow and bend toward the light. Sunflowers will turn to face the sun as it moves across the sky. Reginald raised his eyebrows. That's quite amazing, he said. Gertrude paused. She was going to talk about something Reginald would think is disgusting. She said, All living things get rid of waste. You mean like take out the trash? Reginald laughed. You never do that. No, Gertrude giggled. I mean go poop. Oh, said Reginald. I know you do that because it smells. You do it too, Reggie, she reminded him. Reginald blushed. Reginald had an idea. So living things eat, use energy, and poop. Get rid of waste, right? Right. So what about your scooter? It gets energy from gas. That's its food. It uses the energy to motor around, and using the gas makes exhaust. That's waste. Are you going to tell me your scooter is alive? Reginald smiled. He had caught Gertrude this time. Of course not, said Gertrude. Living things can reproduce. A scooter can't do that. Reproduce? Asked Reginald. Make more of itself. Animals, like people and monsters, make babies. Plants, like banana trees and grass, make seeds that can grow into new plants. Some tiny living things like bacteria just divide in two. Reginald crossed his arms. Smarty Pants Gertrude had an answer for everything. "We're not allowed to scooter until our work is done," he huffed. "My work is done. Don't change the subject," Gertrude said. "Well, rules are important, that's all," said Reginald. "True," said Gertrude. "Here's a rule. All living things breathe. You breathe, I breathe, we all breathe." "Plants don't breathe," said Reginald. "Bacteria don't breathe." "They do," replied Gertrude. "Don't. Do. Don't." "They sure do, Reggie." "That's crazy talk," Reginald said. "Plants and bacteria breathing is different from our breathing, but they use air to release energy, same as us." Gertrude said, "Every living thing is the same in those ways. If something does not do one of those things, then it is not living. Non-living things might be a part of the natural world, like water and rocks. Or they can be made by living things, right?" Reginald asked. "Like scooters are made by people." "That's right, Reggie," said Gertrude. "There is some bad news," Gertrude said. "All living things die someday." "Oh," said Reginald. "That is bad news." "I'm still glad to be a living thing," Gertrude said. "We get to be friends while we're alive, and we get to do fun things like ride scooters together. That's pretty unique, don't you think?" "I guess it is," Reginald agreed. "Hey, Gertrude, how did you get to be so smart?" asked Reginald. "It's just the way I am, I guess." Gertrude thought for a moment. "Actually, you're pretty smart too, you know? That's another way you and I are alike." "You're a good friend, Gertrude. I'm glad we're so alike." "Oh, look, a glossary. That's a text feature. Bacteria, tiny living things that live all around us and inside us. Energy, the power that living things use to do all the tasks needed to live. Exhaust, the waste gases made by a motor. Reproduce, when living things make more of themselves. Waste, what a living thing does not use after food or other nutrients have been digested."